I was a musician since I remember myself, but for a long time I was so afraid to say it because I thought that musicians are professional people who earn money through their craft, through music, and of course they have a band or they have studios with professional production and they have their music on Spotify and they have concerts and people pay for tickets to see them, and only those people are musicians. And I'm just, like a girl who is playing a guitar. So my musical journey started when I was a kid and I went to the musical school. For 7 years I was learning academic piano, and I always struggled with memorizing scores and reading the score, and it's still the biggest problem in my life as a musician because of something, I don't know how my brain works, or ADHD or whatever it is, but I literally, every time in this musical school when I tried to learn a score, every single day I started from scratch. And yes, I could learn it and I could play it on the concert the next day after that, but the day after the concert, it's blank. I just forget everything. And this was the main reason why I thought I will never be able to fully, confidently call myself a musician. Because I'm not able even to remember the freaking score and to play the piece over and over again with the same quality. So years went by, I finished the musical school for piano and also vocals, and I was 14, and I really wanted to continue doing this, and especially I wanted to write my own melodies on the piano. But the piano we had at my house, I was born and grew up in Moscow, and the piano that we had in our apartment was so old that it was never possible to play it in tune. And every time we tuned it, it went nuts like 2 days after that. So every time I tried to play it, and especially the melody that I was trying to invent myself, my ears were just bleeding, literally. It was so hard to hear a melody in my head and try to put it on the piano and hear it back in the awful way possible, and I just struggled with it so much. So eventually I stopped playing the piano at all after I finished my musical school. And my dad, he was a musician when he was young, and he gave me his guitar, and I thought, okay, the guitar is something that I can tune better than the piano, so I'm gonna start playing the guitar. And I kind of learned the basic chords, started playing, started recording covers and everything, and it was ongoing for like 10 years from that time. And I stayed on pretty much the same basic guitar player level, and I never entered the advanced world until now, because now I'm trying to do it. But all those years, although I was kind of satisfied with the fact that, okay, I can play an instrument that is in tune and try even to write my own songs, but I always had this idea of me playing the piano. And my connection to the piano was like so deep since my childhood, and I really, really wanted to have a good piano in my life. But my mom always said, like, yeah, we already have one, we're not gonna buy another one, are you crazy, we don't have so much money. And she didn't understand how important it was to me that it's gonna be in tune. But whatever, I was satisfied with the guitar a little bit. And then when a year ago I decided that I'm gonna move to Canada, which I was gonna do completely alone, and I didn't have any friends or family in Canada, nobody. I had a very vague plan of what I'm gonna do there. And for first 3 to 6 months, I was not even able to start working there and actively doing stuff because I was gonna wait for the documents and blah blah. So I thought this summer that I'm gonna be in Canada, it's gonna be the first time I'm spending my birthday alone. So I might as well give myself a present and make one of those dreams of mine come true. And I decided to buy a really good digital piano for myself. But I had so many doubts about myself as a musician that I was so sure that, well, I'm just gonna like play it, try to do something, but it's not gonna get me to a good level, or I don't know. I just thought it's gonna be my hobby, and I made my dream come true. But what happened was when I bought a piano and I had this 4 to 6 months not doing anything in Canada, I started playing every single day. The first 3 days I played like for 10 hours, I think. And my back was hurting so much after those 3 days. So I was like, no, girl, you have to stop. You have to reduce it to at least like 3 hours max. So since then, the whole time I was in Canada, I was there for 6 months, for half a year. I was playing the piano every day and I never missed a day, except for the times when I was out of town, like somewhere else when I didn't have access to my piano. All other days I was playing it every day. I'm like waking up, I'm playing the piano. I'm going to sleep, I'm playing the piano. During the day, I'm playing the piano. And the incredibly magical thing happened to me. Of course, I was writing kind of songs before on the guitar, but it was all so basic, like C, D, A, M, G, like all those basic chords, and never something truly interesting musically. But when I started playing the piano, because of that problem that I was not able to read the score so fast and to memorize it, I naturally started just inventing my own melodies. And in order to not forget them, I was repeating every melody that I invented every time I sat on the piano, and then by kind of improvising, I started writing a new melody. So the next day after that, I had to repeat the previous melody and the new one. And the third day after that, I had to repeat the previous, and the new one that I wrote on that day. And it worked unbelievably. The fact that I was just doing it every day allowed me to write over 40 different interesting, not C, D, M, or like G chord melodies. And that's like, I think to that day, the thing that I'm most proud of myself for. And that was the first time I could officially allow myself to call myself a musician.